iCarly was a show that was, in many ways, ahead of its time. Season 1 first aired back in 2007, a number of years before internet influencers even existed. And by featuring Carly, Sam, and Freddie rising to fame through their online content, the show basically predicted the future. And it's pretty impressive when you think about it. During the first season of iCarly, the closest thing we had to conventional internet celebrities were the biggest early channels on YouTube, like Fred, Smosh, and Ryan Higa, which none of those channels even had over 100,000 subscribers by the time iCarly first premiered. And there's one thing that none of these channels were doing yet that modern day internet celebrities do constantly, that iCarly also predicted: shamelessly promoting shitty products to their audiences. Which brings me to the sponsor of today's video, Freedom Nuggets. I don't know about you guys, but there's nothing I love more than putting the gun in my mouth. But seriously, these days you can hardly watch a single YouTube video without the creator pushing some lame-ass VPN or some coupon codes for a bullshit protein powder or some other lame-ass bullshit. And iCarly predicted it all with the iconic iPromote Techfoot episode from the very first season. And to really put into perspective how much they predicted the future here, the episode aired all the way back in March of 2008, and it would be more than 2 years until PewDiePie started his YouTube channel. That's how underdeveloped the YouTube influencer space was at the time. And not only did they predict the rise of influencers, but even down to the specifics, with their on-point predictions that said influencers would flap their lips about products they don't actually use or that aren't even good. Remember that browser extension Honey that a bunch of celebrities kept yapping about? Yeah, there's a big legal battle going on because it turned out to be a giant scam for users. And yet, it was promoted by Mr. Beast, MKBHD, Linus Tech Tips, PewDiePie, and many other famous YouTubers. And if you want to learn more about the Honey scam, Megalag made a great video exposing it, and I'll leave a link to it in the description. But finish watching this video first, come on. So, with how impressive this episode is for accurately predicting the future, and for just being an iconic episode in general, I decided it was time for a rewatch to see what else iPromote Techfoots got right about the world over 17 years later. I mean, why should their predicting the future power stop at just influencer ads? Maybe there's some lotto ticket numbers hidden in the background, or Freddie drops some insider trading knowledge or something. I don't know. As always, if you like this video, be sure to give us a like and maybe even subscribe. I might just contact Honey and ask them to sponsor this YouTube channel if you do. And if you have any other episodes or shows you want me to cover, let me know in the comments. All right, let's dive in. The episode starts out with Freddie announcing that their most recent iCarly webcast had 355,000 viewers, which he claims is the highest amount of viewers they've ever had. And that's incorrect, because in a previous episode called I Spy a Mean Teacher, the screen says that the webcast gained over 500,000 viewers. Come on, Freddie. You're the technical producer. You gotta know these stats. Spencer comes through the door and complains that he's been in Canada all day because he fell asleep on the bus. What bus goes from Seattle to Vancouver? He would have had to get a Greyhound or something. Also, surely someone would have woke him up at the border and asked to see his passport, no? Just because you're on a public bus doesn't mean there's no border patrol.
It wasn't a total loss. I bought Canadian bacon while I was there.
Carly ends up getting an email from Deka, a fictional shoe company that's also mentioned in Drake and Josh Really Big Shrimp.
And are you familiar with Deka shoes?
Yeah.
I'm rocking my Deka Air Puffs right now.
They offer iCarly a business relationship and invite them to a meeting to discuss becoming sellouts, much to Carly's delight. Cut to the Deka headquarters, which is really the Seattle Central Library exterior, and the kids enter a fancy conference room. I love that the entire iCarly team didn't even have to consider it. They were gonna sell out, they were gonna panhandle these products to their young audience, who are mostly high school students and below. You don't see any more moral issues here? Anything that would make you contemplate or even just pause for a second and discuss if this is even the right thing to do? Sam has a turkey sandwich with her that switches rapidly between a fully uneaten sandwich and a sandwich with a bite taken out of it, and changes directions too, because fuck it, who cares about continuity? Freddy says they should demand at least $50 to promote Deka's shoes. And is he fucking stupid? Based on their 355,000 concurrent viewers, if they only were paid $50 by Deka to promote their product, that would be equivalent to 1/100th of a cent per person they advertise to. Which, yeah, I get it if you're willing to sell your soul, but if you're willing to sell it for such a small amount, some red flags have to be raised. Some Deka executives enter the room and tell the kids they would love to advertise their new sneakers on iCarly, the Techfoot. It has a built-in pedometer, a foot warmer, and even Wi-Fi.
I call it shoe-fi.
Braxley!
I'm stupid.
Why would a shoe need Wi-Fi? I don't know, and I'm sure as hell not going to be paying a monthly subscription fee to my sneakers Wi-Fi service. When the kids ask how much they'll get paid for promoting the Techfoot, the executive asks them, how much do you want to get paid? The iCarly crew responds 100, and he says, okay, deal. We'll pay you $100,000. Look, if the Techfoot people accepted that request right away, that means the iCarly crew could have got a lot more money. Terrible negotiation tactics right there. Sam chokes on her sandwich, even though it looks uneaten again. And when she coughs a piece of it up, the guy across the table eats it. I absolutely hate that. This episode loses 5 points for that, and I'm not sure it's gonna get him back.
Braxley!
They all agree it's a deal, and the adults give some legal contracts to the underage minors to sign. Did they even discuss any of the specifics? How many times do they have to talk about the Techfoot on iCarly? For how long do they have to talk about it each time? Cut to Carly and Freddy enjoying being rich kids all of a sudden, with Carly wasting tons of money on over 30 pairs of sunglasses, and Freddy buying a new fancy laptop. Suddenly, Sam shows up with a new personal chef, Sonia, and guys, I don't really want to make a joke about this, but I just gotta say, if you've read Jeanette McCurdy's memoir about the child abuse she suffered and her mom withholding calories from her, this line is a little uncomfortable.
What? You hired a personal chef? Well, my mom doesn't feed me.
Cut to the kids upstairs trying on the new Techfoots before iCarly. And why does Freddy have to wear a pair from behind the camera? No one could even see his goddamn feet. Also, I would have tested out a product before agreeing to advertise it to hundreds of thousands of loyal fans. But I guess that's just me. The Techfoots make a squeak squeak sound as if they're playing goddamn basketball in the NBA. Even though the characters are barely moving, and they're on a carpet! So they promote the Techfoots on iCarly, and even go as far as to say that anyone who doesn't buy the new Techfoot is a jerk.
Who wouldn't buy these shoes? Jerks.
Which, come on, kind of reminds me of Nathan saying anyone who doesn't buy a Doinkit is a baby.
Sorry guys, that was the president calling. And he just told me that owning this toy is now the only proof you're not a baby.
And if you've never seen Nathan For You, study up, buddy. You'll thank me later. Cut to school where basically 90% of the student population is now wearing the Techfoot. A few things here. One, is the iCarly fan base really that impressionable that they see one advertisement for something and they run out and buy it? Two, did they all fucking run out at midnight and fucking swarm every Foot Locker in the area and buy up all the Techfoots? It's probably the next day, right? How did people see the ad for it the night before and all have them? They have to be sold out everywhere! But not all is golden in the garden. People have been having issues with the Techfoot. Sam complains that her feet hurt, Freddy says the Wi-Fi crashed his fancy new laptop, and Carly even got electrocuted when she stepped in a puddle wearing them. Other kids complain that they want their money back for the Techfoots, and when Carly says, hell no, we didn't sell your dumbasses the shoes, they respond, fine, then we're just gonna stop watching iCarly. Just imagine, you buy a new iPhone, because fucking Steve Harrington from Stranger Things told you to. And then the iPhone breaks, so you find Steve from Stranger Things, and you tell him, give me my money back for this iPhone. You would go to Apple, you wouldn't go to Steve. Why don't they go to the Techfoot company? Why are they complaining to the iCarly crew? Back at the apartment, Spencer says his homemade bike got ruined, and he still refuses to take the bus again. So he's gonna start rollerblading everywhere. Look at the size of their apartment. It's bigger than a house. You're telling me he can't afford better transportation than rollerblades or a public bus? Carly just blew a ton of money on excessive pairs of designer sunglasses. Couldn't she at least help him out a bit? The iCarly kids talk about how much it sucks that thousands and thousands of people are stuck with shitty ass Techfoots all because they told them to buy them. So they decide to march on down to the Deka headquarters and tell those assholes their shoes are trash. And honestly, the company Deka is supposed to be an established company with presumably a reputation to uphold. It's in their best interest to fix the problems in the shoe even without iCarly demanding it. I mean, forget iCarly's stake in this for a second. What about all the negative press and reviews they're gonna get? What about all the revenue they'll lose from angry customers trying to return them? What about people suing when they get goddamn electrocuted? These things are a liability for the company and will absolutely tank Deka's reputation. So it's genuinely in their best interest to either fix the shoe or simply recall them. But of course, the Deka guy seems totally unconcerned with all the problems. And when the kids say they're gonna stop talking about the Techfoots on iCarly, he tells them that they'll be in breach of contract and their asses are gonna get big time sued. Back at the apartment, Sam points out that Spencer went to 3 days of law school and says maybe he can help find a loophole in the Deka contract. Then, cut to the iCarly webcast, which, in my opinion, is the most memorable scene in the episode. Carly and Sam sarcastically describe all the things that make the Techfoot so great.
Do your feet ever get hot and sweaty? Only always. That's not a problem with Techfoots. Don't I know it? Because all you gotta do is get them a little wet. Like when it rains. And then you can just shove your toe through the front like this.
Cut to Deka headquarters where the main jackass says, "That's it, we're going down there," and they all head out. What? Why? This could just be a phone call or an email, surely. They're not gonna get there in time to cancel the iCarly broadcast. And finally, back with the iCarly crew, which is my favorite part personally, the kids demonstrate how banging the Techfoot with the foot warmer function on causes them to catch on fire.
And if you turn the toe warmer on high, like this, then bang it on a table. That'll keep your piggies warm. It's also perfect for roasting weenies.
And surely, someone's gotten a third-degree burn by now, right? I mean, all that would take is stubbing your toe on something while wearing the shoe and boom, instantly you're disfigured. After the web show, every single employee from Deka shows up. Why did every one of them have to show up? It could have just been one or two representatives, right? Spencer comes in wearing a suit with a light-up tie that, of course, he got from Sako's brother, Tyler. And he announces that he's the lawyer for the iCarly crew. And I'm pretty sure all he has to say is, my clients are minors, and since they're below the age of 18, this contract is non-enforceable. But instead, he points out that iCarly's only obligation is to talk about the Techfoot in a positive way, which they're technically doing. He shows some proof by replaying clips from the webcast, and in Exhibit B, there's a line of dialogue at it where Carly says, "Like a magic eraser," about Freddy's hard drive getting wiped, and that wasn't in the original broadcast.
You just sync the pedometer up to your computer, and it wipes out your entire hard drive. Isn't that great?
Exhibit B.
Like a magic eraser. Isn't that great?
Carly says they're gonna keep roasting the Techfoot harder than they roasted those weenies on every single iCarly broadcast, and the Techfoot goons huddle up. And the iCarly crew huddles up as well to fit in. The head Deka guy says they'll buy them out of their original contract if they stop talking shit on the Techfoot, and they agree on $30,000, which Carly demands in cash instead of a check. The Deka representatives all start pulling out their wallets, and you're telling me these goons really had $30,000 on them just casually? It's kind of insane. The last scene is Carly leading Spencer towards a surprise, and she reveals it's a motorcycle, so he won't have to take the bus or bike or rollerblade anymore. That's great and all, but it's actually illegal to drive a motorcycle without a specific endorsement on your license in Seattle. So he's definitely breaking the law right now. And furthermore, does Spencer even know how to ride a motorcycle? All right, there's three major things I have to give this episode credit for. One, as I said earlier, this episode truly was ahead of its time and low-key predicted the future of how all YouTubers YouTubers, TikTokers, and even Instagram thought influencers would act online promoting shitty products left and right to make some quick change. You seriously gotta admit, this plotline from an episode that aired in 2008 is downright impressive. 2. This is one of the few episodes in the whole iCarly series where Sam doesn't do anything physically abusive to Freddy. Kinda weird for that to be a notable fact, but even setting morals aside, it's kinda nice to see an episode with some humor that doesn't just rely on Freddy being Sam's punching bag. And finally, for a plot that revolves so much around a pair of shoes, I gotta admit, I was pleasantly surprised that there was almost no bare feet references in this episode. I know that sounds like a low bar, and it is, but come on. With Dirty Dan, we all know he's got a creepy foot obsession, and this episode would have probably been an easy opportunity to fixate on some feet, or maybe even show Carly and Sam barefoot, and I'm just really glad that didn't happen. In all honesty, it's probably because Dan Schneider was neither the writer nor the director of this episode. If he'd been the director, it would have been Foot City up in here, let's be real. But enough of me yapping. What do you guys think of iPromote Techfoots? Do you agree that it was ahead of its time, or do you think I'm giving it a little too much credit? And can we all agree that Mr. Beast would 100% sponsor the Techfoot if it was real? Let me know how you're feeling in the comments, and let's kick it. And as always, I gotta give a sloppy, massive, dripping, sensual, dirty shout out to the channel and Patreon members. Look, I say it every video. Your support genuinely brings me so much happiness that it's not easy to put into words. It's not just something I say, it's not something I repeat for fun. I really mean it. And if you're still watching, that's great, that's chill. Maybe check out some other videos, or perhaps take up a sewing class. Learning to sew is a useful skill, buddy. All right, thanks for listening.